Hey, if you watched my last video, you know that in previous episode we took off from small airstrip of Kora and landed here in the small village of Dobu. Today we got another job. We found out that the people from the village of Isan are in need of fuel. So we are loading up today and flying to Isan. The village of Isan is about 130 miles away from us and it shouldn't take us too long to get there. Grab yourself some tea or coffee and let's start today's journey. Welcome, my name is Chris and I'm your flight director. I really appreciate you for clicking on this video and I'm really glad you are here. Today again we are flying with our beautiful Pilatus Porter PC-6 in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. To be honest, I'm a little bit stressed because we're gonna have super challenging flight and very tough approach. Airstrip in Isan is very short and it's kind of on the top of the mountain and it's gonna be very difficult. Okay, let's jump into our airplane and let's start it up. Okay, before we start our engine, two things you need to know. I've changed the livery and I took G1000 for this flight because as you know, ITT needle in the other version of Pilatus was broken and we will see if it's working in this one. Okay, let's get started. First, let's release our control lock. Now, let's turn on our battery, let's turn on our beacon light, let's turn on our bus 1, let's turn on our fuel pump, let's turn on our fuel, ignition, and let's turn on our starter. NG is rising, is above 12%, let's introduce our fuel. This seemed to be okay, but the indicator I think is broken, and because this airplane was originally made for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, not for 2024 version, so not everything's gonna be working. Anyway, everything's it's stabilized, oil temperature is fine and everything's in green, it looks good. Let's turn off our starter and ignition. Let's turn on our generator, let's turn on our lights. And let's push our prop fully forward. Okay, let's cancel our warnings. Let's turn on our bus 2. Let's turn on our bus tiebreaker. And let's do our trims. Rudder trim all the way to the right, the green section as always. Pit trim looks fine, aileron trim looks fine. Let's lower our flaps to takeoff position. And let's put our Isan village into G1000. Our cruising altitude for today's flight is gonna be 12,000 feet. Let's put this in. And our initial heading is gonna be 70. Let's put this in also. Our altimeter for today's flight is 1013. Let's put our tail wheel into lock position. That's done. Okay, so our plan is we're gonna take off and we're basically gonna make a U-turn. We're gonna fly beside this Mount Karimui. We'll see how that's like.
gonna have a look on this mountain. Then we're gonna fly beside Mount Michael, which is Michael's mountain, I guess. And then we're gonna carry on, and we're gonna have actually a Goroka on our left side. And then we're gonna fly above this little lake here, and we will see how that lake is like. Then we're gonna cross this valley here, and we're gonna fly along this river in here, and gonna make a right turn for our Isan Airstrip, and hopefully we're gonna land safely. And by the way guys, once we're gonna reach our cruising altitude, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about darker side of flying in Papua New Guinea. There's a few interesting facts which I didn't know, and I think you want to hear this. Anyway, first we need to take off safely and be on our way. Now let's do quickly the kind of main checklist. If you have everything done, after entering start checklist, prop is fully forward, generator switch is on, avionics bus 2 is on, avionics bus tie is in. Before taxiing, passengers, yeah, they're secured. Landing lights are on, navigation lights are on. Taxiing, tail wheel lock is locked because we already on our runway. Parking brake is gonna be released. We're gonna do our brake test in a second. Flight instruments, we will check it right now, and standby instruments are checked. Okay, so let's check our you see how jittery this is before we check it? Well, once you actually do your left and right turn, now it's smooth. It's so important to check this. I can't stress this enough. Always check your flight controls. Then you're gonna take off, and that's gonna start jittering, and then you're in trouble. Okay, this is done. Let's perform our brake test. First, let's move our conditioning lever to full idle. Let's release our brakes. Brake is working nicely. Okay, but before we're gonna take off, let's put this into stable and just line up with the runway a little bit. Okay, put this back to lock position. We are ready for our takeoff. I think this is the maximum we can get. Release our parking brake. Airspeed's alive. 40 knots, continuing. $60 knots and rotate. Whew. Okay, let's lower our nose a little bit, gain some speed. Okay, so let's lift our first notch of flaps. Let's make our right turn. Towards our ignition heading. Try to keep this 75 knots at least. lift another notch of flaps, lift our flaps completely up, trim our aircraft. Oh, this is beautiful! Oh, I love this aircraft. I actually fell in love with it. Okay, as we climb in, let's turn off our fuel pump, let's turn off our landing lights. Now let's turn left towards our initial heading. Everything's looking good. Oh, Papua New Guinea is beautiful. Absolutely stunning. So this is the Mount Karimui on our left side. Don't mind that GPS track from G1000 because we're not flying with this, we're flying with the route from our little nav map. My Logitech autopilot panel, for some reason the vertical speed is on even if autopilot is not on, and I can't turn it off. Once I press it, the autopilot turns on. But I don't want to mess with it right now because we still have a high terrain beside us, so once we reach the safe altitude I'm gonna try to sort this out. Mount Karimui. It's pretty actually. Much better than I expected. You see guys, you visited my channel, you tune into the video and you just witnessed Mount Karimui on the left. You will never see that otherwise. Okay, let's continue with our checklist. Climb. Flaps are up. Auxiliary fuel pump is off. Oil temperature. Looks good. Landing lights are off. Heating control is not required. ITT remains below 695, which is not correct. We're just gonna have to live with it and wait for the update from Milvitz or Black Magic. I keep forgetting the name of it now. The Milvitz is so much easier. Black design. Black. From the company, we need to wait for an update. And hopefully it's gonna come soon. I'm checking every day, but unfortunately, still nothing. Cruise altitude. Okay, oil temperature is normal. ITT is broken. Engine instruments are check. Ignition switch not required. Okay. Guys, tell me if Papua New Guinea it's not absolutely of a stunner. Look at this. I'm gonna turn on my head tracking. Look at this. This is beautiful. How would you not want to fly here? Okay, so this is Mount Michael in front of us. Right here. So this is Mount Michael. And by the way guys, we've gained about 100 subscribers, over 100 subscribers in 3 days, which is absolutely amazing, and I want to say thank you. you're liking the content, you're enjoying yourselves here, so I'm more than happy. That's all I can say. Thank you very much. Okay, this is our Mount Michael on the left side. I don't know, should I call it Mount Michael or Mountain of the Michael? Or Michael's Mountain, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, this is the mountain anyway. And by the way guys, I'm planning to make a video with the footage of real Pilatus Porter 6. I don't know if you know Pilot's Home channel. There's a guy who's flying in Papua New Guinea with Pilatus Porter into the most remote airstrips possible, and he agreed actually to use his footage. So we're gonna compare same places and basically same airstrips and same routes between Microsoft Flight Simulator and real life. So this is going to be very interesting. I don't know when I'm gonna make this video, because I don't know exactly how I'm gonna make it just yet, but yeah, that's in our plans as well, so stay tuned. I'm gonna include the Pilot's Home channel in the video's description, so you can go and have a look if you like Pilatus Porter and you like basically content from Papua New Guinea but in real life. You should definitely visit his channel, because the quality of his videos are just amazing, absolutely amazing. So I encourage you to go and check him out.
Now guys, a few facts about flying in Papua New Guinea, which are not necessarily flowers and rainbows. As you know, Papua New Guinea is one of the most, if not the most dangerous place in the world actually to fly. A lot of pilots, which they're new pilots and they want to change their lives or whatever, they cannot get the job in airlines. Flying jets in Europe, they very often go to Papua New Guinea and gain their flying hours over there. There's a main airline in Indonesia which is called Suzy Airline, and a lot of pilots from all over the world actually go in there and getting hired and flying with the turboprops, the most dangerous and most remote airstrips possible. Indonesia has one of the worst air safety records. In Suzy Air itself, there were 3 fatal crashes in the last 3 years, and 2 of them crashes happened in the lowlands of Papua. One of them accidents was a pilot from Suzy Air was coming to the landing to the remote airstrip, and there is a guy, apparently he was deaf, came onto the runway, and the pilot, he was already below the minimums, and just to avoid killing the guy, he tried to go around and didn't make it and crashed. After that, Suzy Air changed the rules. Once the airplane's below minimums, whatever comes on the runway, whoever comes on the runway, the pilot must land, and basically there is no choice of hitting whoever is gonna come onto the runway. Second, as far as I remember, second crash from Suzy Air, it was the airplane took off overweight and didn't have enough power to actually climb over the mountain and smashed right into it. There was another thing, in 1960s there was 2 missionary guys, and they were hiking in the woods. They were jumped by the tribe and they were killed and eaten. And the funny thing is, once they've opened, years after that, they've opened the airstrip for this tribe, and that guy who was involved of killing and eating those 2 missionaries, he was at that airstrip at the opening day. Well, might be funny, but it's not really. Now imagine how difficult it is to fly in Papua New Guinea. Like, some airstrip, you come into land on your final approach, knowing you only have 1 shot. If something goes wrong, there is no go around. In some airstrips, there is no go around. You have only 1 chance to land the airplane, or you'll probably end up dead. So Papua New Guinea pilots in Papua New Guinea, basically, they're probably one of the best out there. Adrenaline junkies also. Okay, I don't want to make this video too long, so maybe next time, next flight, I'm gonna come up with something interesting and I'm gonna tell you guys. Okay, let's carry on with our flight.
Let's do our before landing checklist. Altimeter is check, fuel quantities check, fuel pump is on, ignition switch is on, idle control lever is high idle, that's correct, flaps not yet, trim we're still on the autopilot, heating control is not required, landing lights on, and tail wheel is locked. Okay, before landing checklist is complete. We're actually going to descend to 10,000 feet and we're going to stay at 10,000 feet because those mountains are way too high. Let's push our prop fully forward. Okay, so I'm positive this is our valley right there. So let's align with this. Let's make a left turn. Little update. We are right here. We are coming to the right turn, and then we are very close to our airport. Okay, let's slow down. Slowing down. Okay, I'm gonna hand fly it from here. So I guess we're not gonna fly straight in. Look for our airstrip. Should be directly in front of it now. Okay, let's make a U-turn and just keep looking for it. Just keep slowing down. We're just being pushed upward. trimming our aircraft, going a bit too fast, just very bumpy. Lower force, not your flaps. Keep trimming. Oh, it's very windy. Oh, wow. Super windy. What is going on? I cannot control the airplane. Our airstrip right there? I think it is. Okay, if I was in the deep trouble here. Okay, our flaps are fully down. I couldn't control the airplane. I was being pushed by the wind up and down, up and down. That was crazy. Very fast.
Okay guys, I just gonna do voiceover from here, as I got really pissed off at the end of this flight. First of all, I realized I forgot to trigger Neofly at the start of our journey. Then after landing, just didn't trigger, didn't get the announcement. Second thing, I just couldn't, at the approach, I couldn't control the airplane. It's like someone took the remote control of the airplane. Autopilot was coming on and off when I wasn't even near to it. End of this flight wasn't the best, but the landing at least was decent enough. I was able to safely land even with the problems we had before. I don't know if the recent Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 updates have anything to do with this, because I had problem with I was doing the test flights with Kodiak and I had similar problems. This airplane wasn't made for this version of Microsoft Flight Simulator. It was made for previous version, so bugs and problems probably are no more thing. Anywho, diddly do, guys, thank you for tuning in to the video. I really appreciate it, and consider subscribing. This would be great help for me. I cannot stress this enough. Once more, thank you for watching this video, and I will speak to you guys very soon. Goodbye.